and happy Friday! It's good to have you, my friends. Sorry, I know we're just a couple of minutes late. Of all things, of course, the dog. She gets so excited. Everything is out there, and I'm like, Nova, I love you dearly, and we're going to show her to you in mere moments. But I thought I better get her inside because she'll be a distraction, and I don't want her scaring the birds away because that's all part of this. But welcome aboard, my friends. It's great to have you along here. Yes, indeed, it is Friday, and what a difference, you know, from the last couple of days. This was snow covered. I had to recover all the patio stuff. And now it's just beautiful. So we have a really busy show that we're going to have here today. I appreciate your company. On today's program, firstly, if you are new, let me know. Put a little asterisk and put new, whatever other comment you want to if you'd like. But let me know. We'd love to see, we continue to grow the audience across the board. A lot of people already joining us. We have Renee, Judy saying happy Brian, Ron saying good day. Kathy saying hoot hoot, it's Friday. Jennifer saying happy sunny Friday from Whitby. Also Patricia, TGIF, Susan Miles saying I'm here, yay. Yeah, yay, I'm glad you are here. Thanks for sharing your time with us. On the show today, we are going to talk about lost pets. I think you'd be startled by some of the stats on stuff like that. Plus a new AKQ. We'll get your input on a question and answer sort of session. And I'm tying that into a very cool video on what the sounds of a spider's web sounds like, all right? So that, you don't want to miss this. Very, very neat. Of course, your full forecast. But first, you know, it's Earth Week. Yesterday, officially Earth Day, and I was excited to show you what we've been doing with the kids here. This is a great idea, and not like I came up with it by any means, but if you've got kids or grandkids, especially if they're doing online learning, most are all doing that now. But we've been doing this for the last several weeks. These are the sunflower seeds, but look at them. And what's really great about sunflowers is that they grow so quick. So the kids come down every morning and they're going to water it with their spritzer, but they'll see it, you know, the shell splitting open and out it comes. Then we have here, these are tomato plants. And then we have Grassy Gus. We made Grassy Gus with pantyhose and some triple mix. And I was debating, do I give Grassy Gus a haircut? He needs it. But I was thinking maybe I surprise the kids and give them a mohawk. So let me know. Should I give them a mohawk? That'll be another thing. You let me know. Karen says good afternoon from Schitt's Creek. Well, good for you. Glad to hear that. Diana's saying hello. And Jane is joining us from Oshawa. Let me know. Should I give him a mohawk? And we'll get to it a little bit later. Isn't he great, though? Look how he turned out. Just amazing. That's just grass seed and pantyhose, and we, you know, sort of twisted things around, tied it in a knot, and another great little thing for the kids to do. And love the here and now, here and there show with a little bit of this and that. Yes, you're right, Judy. Absolutely correct. It is nice to be out. So, Rena's saying I should let the kids do the haircut, and Stephanie says no haircuts right now either. Well, I'm thinking, I've already cut their heads twice. Yeah, well, we can't go to a hairdresser, a barber. So I ended up ordering a kit from online and watch videos, and I've been cutting their hair. Thankfully, they're really young, 8 and 6, and they're pretty happy overall. Some are saying we should cut it, so we'll see a little bit later on in the show. But I wanted to get to what today is. So it's Earth Week, lots of beautiful spring stuff in and around. Today is a gorgeous close to the week. But this is also officially National Lost Dog Awareness Day. What? Yes. National Lost Dog Awareness Day. And it's really interesting. Do you know only 14% of pets that are lost are returned to their owners? 14, and I was actually caught off guard by that because I think as we, you know, walk around in our neighborhoods, we may see the sign and the cute little picture. We go, oh my goodness, isn't he cute? But we don't really, you know, close that story and think that the likelihood of that pet, that dog, returning home is slim, which is very sad. So according to Pet Amber Alert, that's a US-based online lost pet finder service, this is interesting. More pets are lost, guess a day. The day where there are more pets lost than any other day of the year, of course this is American-based, July the 4th. Yes, July the 4th They say there's a 30% increase in lost pets, and they're connecting this to the firework displays. Now, I don't know how much is that going to happen this year. I'm sure to some extent it will in the U.S. But they say the 5th of July is the busiest day at shelters because dogs are sort of found and apprehended, if you will, or caught, and then they put into a shelter. But between the 4th and the 6th, is that not something? July 4th, more dogs are lost on that day than any other day. So that really surprised me. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are pet owners. You know that I have a pet. We just spoke about Nova. Let me bring up a picture here. You know, pets just change your whole dynamic of your family structure. They offer and bring so much. So Nova has been our faithful, furried family member for almost 10 years, 9.5 years. So this is an image, a couple of images of her. And she has just been so great with the kids and with the family overall. Look at that face. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose your pet. I mean, that would be just terrible. So we're going to give you some tips in just a moment. But a lot of people are moving in. Diane says the backyard looks great. Well, thank you for that. And a lot of people are saying that the dog should be chipped. And you're absolutely right. In many cases, that will happen. Sadly, not everybody can afford that, though. That's the reality. Susan says, beautiful, Nova. Oh, Rena's also saying she's gorgeous. Barbara's saying beautiful. Edith's saying she's a cutie. And Diane adds, nothing better than an unconditional love without question. She is just so amazing. And Aline says she has a grand dog. Well, isn't that something? They do become, your kids in many ways. Diane Dunlop says 2 huskies, and also Narita says it's bright and sunny today, and happy Friday, and enjoy the weekend to the whole family. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. But I wanted to give you some tips. If your pet is lost, on what to do, and I just found this really fascinating. So these are some of the things that you should consider, and it sounds, common sense, but I never really connected to that. And the first thing is security cameras. Virtually, I shouldn't say virtually, a lot of homes have security cameras. Your home may have it as well. But even if you don't, if your pet is lost, you should consider canvassing your neighbors, because they also will have likely security cameras. And then maybe you can pinpoint the last time that your pet was spotted. Maybe it's a cockatoo, I don't know. But I thought that was really great. And then also online sites, petfrenzy.ca. I'm not being endorsed by them. This is an amazing site. It has links to lost and found Facebook group pages across the country. Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario. So petfrenzy.ca, and then you can find your place, and that's where people can post. I thought it was amazing. The other thing, of course, you could post on Kijiji, which I never thought about, but they have a section for that. Experts are also saying that you should visit the local shelter. Now, much more challenging now during COVID, but they're saying when you phone them, it doesn't take much for broken telephone in terms of, was it a male or a female? Did they check the last bunch of dogs that they just got? So the best is to go there and to say, can I do a visual? This is what my dog looks like. And another tip is, if you do pay for pet insurance, check your policy, because very likely there will be some financial incentives, some offerings, part of the policy that offers for rewards and ad fees. So you no harm in checking if you buy pet insurance. So I thought that was kind of interesting, something to, just sort of keep on the shelf if that happens. I hope it never happens to the family, but things to consider. So that is something you may want to do as we mark National Lost Dog Awareness Day. Look, Val says has no dogs now but 5 rescued cats. And David says, do I want more? 2 more. David is joining us from Vancouver Island. No, I'm not into Mensch, thank you. Mensch is a beautiful dog, but you can keep Mensch. This dog, I have to tell you, my friends, David is a good friend of mine from the West Coast. That one dog has eaten, oh my goodness, shoes, purses, you name it. Beautiful dog, loving dog, but a handful. So David, you can keep your 2. Thanks very much. Oh, Tracy says people sometimes chip their pets but don't update the contact information. You're absolutely right. You know, if you're moving a lot, and that should be something that should be a part of your emergency kit plan. I want to do a show on that, by the way, preparing for an emergency. I'm going to make a note of that because I think that's very important. You have to plan for your pets. Diane mentions, so glad it's getting warmer. And Jane says, Lucy, I'm assuming that's your dog, is an important member of her family. And Donna says, Facebook helps. My friend belongs to NDR and will go out and look for lost pets. Oh, very cool. I love that. Barbara says, we also have a grand dog, too. Barbara says, had 2 dogs that lived to age 14 and 15. Wow, that is good. That's a real blessing. So good for you. Elizabeth says, we don't have any pets right now, but we take care of our son's dog when they go away. Well, that is nice. And, you know, that's sort of the best way, isn't it? Right? You get a pup, you get the benefits of the pup, and then after a couple of weeks you say, okay, now you can take the pup away. Every family has their own needs and how they can handle it, because it is like having a kid. It can't be just, you know, you're going to get a dog and keep it indoors exclusively. It needs fresh air. It needs to be taken care of on so many levels. There's also the consideration of the cost of food and operations and all that sort of thing. Alicia says she just lost her baby last June, had to put her down, and is lost without her. And now you got a new puppy just before Christmas, so it's making getting through COVID a huge plus. I bet it is. You know, it's interesting you say that, because there has been a huge surge in the wants of adopting animals. One rescue shelter in Toronto was saying over 5,000 applications. Now, this was a year ago, March, April, when the lockdown started happening. Everybody wanted a dog. 5,000 applications, unbelievable. So now it looks like it's sort of evened out, but there's still a great need, and unfortunately some people are taking advantage of it, posting online and, you know, want to sell $2,000-3,000 for a pup. So I'll leave that to you. But I would suggest that you want to make sure that you're not supporting somebody who's, you know, running a quote-unquote puppy mill and that sort of thing. That does nobody any favors. So that's something to consider. But I want to get to the AKQ today. And the Anwar Knight Query is, what creature creeps you out? You know, what creature provokes an instant scream or a get me out of here response? And I'm tying it into this thing that we have for spiders. So that's the AKQ today. I'm asking you what creature is, it freaks you out the most, whether it's mice, it's snakes, I don't know, what have you. And I'll actually have the full list, a new list of the most feared creatures, according to the study done out of the Czech Republic. So that's what we're going to ask you. Now, I bring this up because I want you to listen to the sounds of a spider's web. And this was done by a team of scientists from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's a research university. And they created what they believe would be the sounds of a spider's web. So I want you to listen into this. It's really cool. Very cool indeed. Listen in as we stream live here on Here and There with Anwar Knight. Now, spiders are mostly blind, so they use the webs to help sense and detect things. So it's the vibrations that send messages to their legs. And because of the differences in the length and the tension of each strand, it emits a different frequency when disturbed. And I thought this was so cool. So they did a 3D mapping. And yes, there was some creative liberties here with this. They used a synthesizer and a harp sound. But it's used to illustrate how they communicate and how they also communicate with other spiders by just tapping on the strands of a spider. That was a tropical tent spider, by the way, the web that they used. And they're not aggressive to humans. Very rarely will they bite. But it mimics the way a spider surveys this world. Is that not the coolest thing? I think it was just amazing. And, you know, I think that we tend to negate some of the fascination about nature. You know, we can see things that are majestic like an eagle or a grizzly bear, But when it comes to something as a spider's web, some may appreciate the value that they do, but this just peels off another layer, pulls back the curtain. Just amazing creatures. So I'm asking you on the AKQ, what is the thing that creeps you out the most? And Cindy says, by the way, wow, thanks, never knew that. Mine also says, oh my God. Linda says, that is awesome. Love taking pictures of spiders' webs. Really amazing. I hate to think how they do it. Haley says, ticks and mosquitoes. You know, I can't say that. Well, ticks actually do freak me out. And that was another, tangent. Ward joins us regularly as a viewer here and is suggesting that we should talk about tick dangers. And you're right. We just found one the other day. And I actually did a whole podcast episode at bigbluemarble.earth talking about the tick population and how it's increasing across the region because of climate change. The populations are expanding and increasing in size, especially for eastern half of the continent. So there is a real risk. Of course, Lyme disease carriers, right? But you're right, that is kind of freaky. Christina is saying what freaks her out most are birds and David. No, that's her husband. Okay, well, there you go. Stephanie's saying snakes, mice, earwigs, and deer flies. You got a whole list. Snakes is in there, eh? It's the top of the list. Wally says piranhas are scary yet fascinating. Don't go into the water in South America. I have a feeling you won't have to worry too much, about that here. Judy says spiders, but not dandy long legs. They are okay. So you make the one exception, the dandy long legs. What's going on? Zarika says, why would I choose the same time to go live as the Prime Minister? Well, I have to tell you, I was doing this first. He just chose to go live at noon. And you know what? I won't be offended if you want to watch JT. You can catch the replay right here as well, also on YouTube on Monday. Ron said if his wife were here today, she'd be freaked out. She's terrified of spiders, even the sight of one online, and some people are like that without question. Margaret says spiders, but my dad always told me I shouldn't be afraid of them as they lure flies into the webs, and flies carry germs. They are huge insect control creatures, absolutely, without question. So they have a lot of benefits. And I thank you, by the way, Diane, Edith, and Giselle, that say you rather watch me than JT. So thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, Val, you can hear it on the news. You're absolutely right. Look, the whole idea about this is let's share some camaraderie, some friendship. Let's forget about everything that's going on because it's so intense. Let's just share some good times. That's what we're trying to do here. So if you are enjoying it, give me some more thumbs up, show me some hearts, and we'll continue to grow it. And also, of course, follow the page. So I want to get to the forecast, by the way, because we're getting into the weekend, and we do have some very nice conditions. No more snow in the forecast. That's the good thing. So I'm going to start off by getting into the national forecast map. And generally speaking, there's a ridge of high pressure in place across the Great Lakes Basin. But there is this parcel of energy down into the deep south. And it looks a little more potent than it is on the map here, courtesy of NOAA. But some of that energy will start to drift to the northeast. So that means we're going to see some increasing cloud tomorrow, more so into the late afternoon, and it's going to generate some showers. I don't expect it to be really amount to much, that's for sure, but it is in the forecast. But it is more active in the U.S., hugging Texas, Louisiana, all the way through approaching Georgia by the overnight. But otherwise, we have the big blue H moving into the region. So for Toronto today, we're going to see a fair amount of sunshine. There'll be some scattered clouds. Very pleasant. It's going to be breezy at times, up to 50 kilometers an hour. And your forecast high today, 16. If we're lucky, we'll push up to 17 degrees. A very nice way to close out the week. Into the overnight period, we have scattered clouds and dropping down between 5 and 7 degrees. I think 7 will be on the completely optimistic side, and I went with that. It may be a tad cooler, depending on our cloud shield. So if there is a little bit more cloud, that acts as a blanket. But overall, there's no snow. That's the end of the day. And your sunset time, 8:10. We gained almost 10 extra minutes of daylight from last week's show, and the winds start to ease. Now, for the rest of southern Ontario, a fair amount of sunshine. There will be a 30% chance of showers in around the Golden Horseshoe. It's just a 30%, so I didn't bother putting it in. Overall, a very decent day, and and some nice values, 11 to 18 degrees. And then as we get into the overnight period, it'll be variable cloudiness, 1 to 5 degrees, 1 in Stratford, 2 degrees Windsor and Kingston. And we'll get 5 degrees in the Niagara area. And for the current temperatures right now, we're sitting at 12 at Pearson. Hamilton is sitting at 10, 11 in London, 14 in Windsor, 10 degrees in Kingston, and 10 in Barrie. The 5-day trend, so as we get into tomorrow, as I mentioned, a lot of sunshine to start, mix of sun and cloud late morning, and then slowly it'll start to increase, setting the stage for some showers. The window for showers for the GTA tomorrow, it's like midnight to 5 a.m. All right, so I mean, it's not going to detract from any outdoor activity if we can't go very far, granted. But if you are going for a walk in your local park and that sort of thing, or doing some gardening in your backyard. Sunday, sun cloud mix, 13 degrees, and then we'll see a fair amount of sunshine on Monday. A little bit cooler, drops down, but still double digits, 11 degrees, and then 21 on Tuesday with a risk of a shower, but 21. Bring it on. I think that sounds fantastic. So one cool night. Sunday night drops down to the freezing mark, and then we're looking very good. So no complaints there. So as we get back to the AKQ, let's see. So Marina's saying, love the show. She's from Brampton. And Shauna says, planted a golden weeping willow tree yesterday for Earth Day. Yay! That's awesome. That's fantastic. Good for you. And Wally says, sounds like we're in for a hot and dry summer. There are indications, yeah, that it is going to be quite hot. We're going to watch that. And let's see here. Is giving us applause. Thank you for that. So is Barbara. Diane's giving me a big sun with some sunglasses. I appreciate that. And Bruce says, now Anwar's had this time slot for 7 weeks now. Watch it later if you choose. Well, I appreciate that. Yes, thank you. I don't want to, listen, you do whatever it is. If you want to watch the news, watch the news. If you want to have some fun here, stay here. It's all good. Giselle says, misses the weather on CTV, but you talking about weather is so appreciated. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time, without question. Barbara likes the graphics. Thank you. We're going to actually enhance those in the weeks to come. Linda says nothing freaks her out, and try to have a healthy respect for all animals, especially if you don't have factual amount of knowledge about them. I tend to be curious. That's the way to be. And for the most part, if you let them be, they'll let you be. So, and that includes bees. So I agree with you. By the way, Sharon is joining us from Jamaica. Well, good for you, Sharon. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 21 degrees. Thank you, Susan, for confirming we are back. 21 degrees is a cool day in parts of Jamaica, for sure. One of my favorite spots, by the way, been to Montego Bay, Ocho Rios several times. Dario is giving us a thumbs up that we're all back, so that's good. And so is John, so that's good to hear. So again, the AKQ today is what creeps you out? Is there a creature that makes you scream and that you don't want to see? Let me know here, and we will spread it along as we continue on a Friday. Now, I wanted to give you this the results of the new study that was done out of the National Institute of Mental Health and Charles University in the Czech Republic. So this was, excuse me, the most feared creatures. And number one, some of you said spiders. That was the number one survey that they done, the results of the survey. Number two, I found this quite interesting. Number two was snakes, but not poisonous. Not the garden variety. No one had a problem, according to this survey, like a garter snake. But if it was venomous, then they had a problem. That was number two. The number three most feared creature, according to this study/survey, were bulls. I don't know, bulls. Unless you're doing the run of the bulls in Spain, I don't see how that's a problem. But number four were parasites. I can't say I'm afraid of a tapeworm. I don't want it, but I'm not afraid of it. But that was number four. And number five was wasps. And there are some people that have a fear of wasps. Wasps are, they're not like honeybees. They're a little more aggressive. Shirley says skunks, and I know, Shirley, you've had a lot of problems with skunks, quite a few. One of mine loves snakes, and Aisha says she hates snakes, anything really creepy crawly. Vicky says mice. You know what, I have to tell you, I'm with you. When you see a cute little mouse doing its thing, out somewhere in the bush, that's fine. But if it's in my house, I'm not a big fan. Yeah, Diane gives, question mark and exclamation point. Bulls with an LOL. I know. Apparently, this was a major research project that they did. I don't see where they're getting bulls, but that's, part of it. One of mine loves wasps. She also loves skunks. Oh, Dominica says bed bugs. Listen, sister, if you got bed bugs, yeah, you've got a problem. That is an issue. I'm afraid of that too. One of mine loves mice. Bev says rats. I remember reading just recently there was a rat problem because of the pandemic. There's a lot of infestations. In fact, just as a side note, there are many museums now that have discovered a lot of problems with things like moths because they've laid dormant for so long. Darkness and quiet time, that's like a Motel 6 for a month, you know what I mean? Like it's A-OK, come on in. So the Getty Museum in Los Angeles in particular, they're now doing moth remediation, which is basically the super clean out. And what they've done, they've actually taken, dental picks and spatulas, and they're going through the grooves of the wood on the floor to get all the debris, the dust that would be basically food, because they have some 17th century, wool carpets in there and paintings. But apparently that has been something that has been an issue around the world at certain museums because of the pandemic. So that's another sort of, connection of what was going on in the world and continues to this time. Anyway, we're going to wrap up, my friends. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody's connection and joining me on a Friday. And if you're watching JT, well, you don't know I'm saying this. If you come back to see the replay, thank you for doing so. But I want to end by showing you some images of spring. Let's put a smile on all of our faces, because now that spring has sprung and we're getting some more sunshine, there is a lot of positive energy out there, a lot of things to look forward to. These are some images that I did not personally take, but I wanted to share with you, and just how beautiful springtime can be, and it is a wonderful distraction as well to connect with nature. So as we show some of these images, I ask you to please support what we're doing here with a thumbs up, with the hearts, and of course to be following the page. That's key, because not only do we have the noon live show, but we do some pop-up shows, I call them, with no advance warning. But if you follow the page, you'll get a little notification, and you can join me. And I really appreciate it. So the more follows, the more hearts, the more thumbs up we get. It continues to grow. Also, of course, you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Anwar Knight. And also subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel. We replay the show on YouTube, and of course you can see the re-rack right here on the Facebook page. But every time you engage with me, it sends me that sign that we're on the right track, we're doing something good, and I think that's important in days like this. So I want to thank you. Linda saying great show, positive, uplifting, keep up the great work. Thank you. Victoria saying have a great weekend. So is Miranda, so is Nancy, thank you so much. So is Giselle and Judy. Yes, I want to wish all of you guys, my friends, a wonderful, safe, and happy weekend, and I look forward to your company again next Friday. And I can't wait when the lockdown, stay-at-home orders have concluded, we can get back out exploring all these unique spaces in the GTA. Take care of yourselves, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week here on Here and There, live on my Facebook page at noon. Good day.